friends, welcome back. I hope you're having a lovely day today. In today's video, we're going to be creating a tiny house using only the harvest house. And in this build, I need to include a kitchen, dining area, living room, bathroom, an office, and a bedroom with a closet. I'm not allowed to add any extra rooms, so no hallway spaces. It's literally just the harvest house. And I'm gonna add one more rule to it. I'm gonna do minimal to no glitching. The only glitching I'm gonna allow myself to do is the soup bowl glitch, and that's only because that's easily done on Switch. I'm pretty sure it is on console as well. I just personally haven't played Palia on console, so I can't truly speak to that. So if you do know, let me know down in the comments. That would be super helpful. But before we get into the video, by the time that this video is uploaded, I'm actually on my honeymoon, which is really exciting. And I've been trying to figure out what items I want to bring, as in clothes, swimsuits, accessories like jewelry. And my friends over at Ana Luisa were kind enough to send me some jewelry options, and I'm so excited to share those with you. The first one is the pair that I'm wearing right now. This pair of earrings is called the Jessica, and I'll put an image on the screen so you guys can see, because unfortunately I cannot zoom in with this lens. I'm actually quite obsessed with these. It is a gold hoop with a gold heart. I'm not lying when I say this. I've been wearing this pair every single day. It's quite comfortable. My ears get pretty sensitive to certain types of metals, but I haven't had any sensitivity issues with these. They aren't heavy, and even though it just hangs a bit lower than my ear, as a gamer, I'm going in between headphones and earbuds all the time, but when I put these over them, they don't bother me whatsoever. So I can game with these earrings in. That might be a very niche need, but if you know, you know, and I just highly recommend these. This one is called the Ash Double. And again, I will put another picture on the screen so you guys can see it up close. It's two gold hoops. One is solid gold and the other one has this like twisted pattern throughout it. But again, like the last one, it is very comfortable. And I have plans to wear this on a date night with my husband, and I'm just really excited about it. Ana Luisa is a perfect place if you're wanting to treat yourself or somebody that you love with a beautiful piece of jewelry. They have unmatched quality. It is long lasting, hyperallergenic, water resistant, and sustainable. It's a great way to elevate your style without breaking the budget, because designs start as low as $39. There's free and fast shipping within the US, and if you're not in the US, there's affordable shipping options. Every single product that you buy through Ana Luisa has a 2-year warranty. So if you choose to check out Ana Luisa, make sure to use my link that I have for you down below in the description. Big thank you again to Ana Luisa, and let's get back to this challenge. This is the house that we're going to be making our tiny house out of. It is a harvest house, and I added 4 bay windows, 2 at the front, 1 on the side, and 1 at the back. My goal with this build is to fit a kitchen, living room, bathroom, desk area, and a bedroom all in just this harvest house with minimal to no glitching. The only glitching I'm going to be doing is the soup bowl glitch, just because it helps merge items. I'm going to try to do this as easy and simple as possible, with only allowing myself to use that one glitch. Now I've already added a roofing and walls, and I also added some landscaping, so let's get into building this. The harvest house is already pretty small. The first thing on our to-do list is to make a second floor, and on the second floor I want to have a bedroom and a closet. Coming out of the front door, I want the stairs to come up on this side, so we're gonna go ahead and start the staircase. We're going to be starting with a wood paver, and I'm going to place it like right at the edge of this pillar. In order to turn this into a staircase, we're going to be using the gourmet dessert bowl. Place that in the center of the back of the paver, and then we will be placing a paver on top of that soup bowl. And there we have one like step of the stairs. I'm going to come back once I have a few more. I just finished the first part of the stairs. I have 9 wood pavers leading up to this first ledge. I'm gonna turn and continue the staircase to the right. I just finished the second set of steps, and I used 8 pavers to get to this. Next, we're just gonna be making another landing with a wood floor. So we're just going to align it with the staircase that we have and just put it a little bit above it, so that way it creates another step. It's not quite high enough to make a second floor. We're gonna turn to the right and then add more stairs the exact same way. I just finished the last bit of our staircase, and I think it's looking honestly perfect. This is exactly how I wanted it to look, but we're not gonna move on to the second floor just yet. I want to add some details around the staircase in general, just to make it look a bit more intentional. For this tiny house, I don't want it to feel open. I kind of want it to feel like there's a space for every single room we're going to be adding to this house. So we're going to go ahead and use the stone pillars, add a few of them in a line just to make a custom wall. I ended up using 8 pillars right here, but I'm also going to be adding them on the side. So we're making a tiny corner. And then on this side, I ended up using 10 pillars. Not going to stop there. We're going to be doubling up on them. So go ahead and place some pillars on top of that. And I just finished up this corner wall. I think this is already looking so much better. You could just leave it open. However, like I said earlier, I want every single area of this house to kind of feel like it has its own room versus it just being an open concept. So I'm loving this wall right here. But now I'm gonna go underneath the staircase and I'm gonna finish up this wall. And now this is fully blocked off. It'll make sense. I have a plan for this area, so just trust me. I don't think we should just leave this part closed off. So we're gonna go ahead and repeat what we did over here on this side. However, instead of it being a corner, it's gonna be a straight wall. And now we have this wall completely finished. And then to add a bit more design, we're going to be coming back to this side and I'm going to be placing a wood pillar right in that corner, another one on top, and then we're going to do the same on both sides. Just to add another design element to this wall. I think that's looking amazing. Oh, I'm honestly loving how this is looking. I'm excited to see the final product. I'm hoping we can fit everything into this room. But I'm going to go ahead and add some stone pillars on this side just so that there's not like an awkward space right here. I just finished that wall right next to that first part of the stairs. We're going to be moving on to the second floor. So I'm going to be taking a wood floor. I'm basically going to be attaching it to the pillars that we just placed for the walls. This will be the easiest way of creating that second floor. Once you find a good height, you're just going to place it, and I'm going to double check the height of it. Oh yeah, that's quite nice. It's not too high compared to the stairs, so I think that's a good height to base it off of. So now I'm going to be creating the rest of the floor, and I think I'm going to be making it about 3 wide. It's going to be a little weird on this side, but we're just going to ignore it for now. It's not there. As I'm placing these, I'm making sure that the wood grain matches throughout the entire second floor. Okay, that's looking good. I think it's a good height too. It doesn't feel weird being underneath this area. But this is how the second floor is looking. What I have like in my head right now is you walk in, you have the staircase to the left. We're gonna have a kitchen right here. I don't know if we're gonna have a dining space. I wanna create a counter so we can have seating there. We'll have a living room with some bookshelves and then a separated area for the bathroom. So let me finish out this wall. I just finished this wall. This is how it's looking on the outside and this is how it's looking on the inside. I think this is a better space for a bathroom. It's a bit more private, but we do need some doors. We're gonna be taking 2 wood walls and we're gonna be stacking them on top of each other, and then we're gonna move this into place. We do need an ornament though, so let me grab one. We're gonna have one right there. And now we have a door handle on both sides. Now we're gonna finish out the walls of the upstairs. Hello, this is me from the future editing currently. I'm actually missing some footage, but before we add walls to that second floor bedroom, I did go through and add a 3rd layer to the pillars. And because of the roof, you're able to place a 3rd on most of these. So if you are recreating this, just make sure to do that. I wish I had the footage to show you, but I don't. But hopefully that made sense. For the walls, we're actually going to be using the wood walls, and I'm going to be merging this slightly with the stone wall that we just created. But we're going to place that right there, and then another one beside that, and then a 3rd. And then I'm only going to be stacking these 2. There we go. That's looking pretty good. I wish we could cover up this area, and there probably is a way that you can cover this up with glitching, but we're trying to keep this at minimal glitches, so we're gonna leave it open. However, I think we can fill it up with decorations later, so we're gonna leave that for now. But now we're gonna repeat this wall, but on this side. And now that this wall is finished, we can move on to cover up this back wall, and we're just gonna be doing that with some stone crates. And there we have our back wall. Even though all of the holes aren't completely filled, I think this is looking pretty good. It feels like its own space. But once we add the wardrobe, a dresser, a bed, I think it's really gonna fill out the rest of this room. So we're gonna leave that for now and move on to the space that's under the staircase. So down here, we're gonna be using the stone crates again. So we're gonna place 2 back here, and then we're gonna grab a wood floor, place a bowl on top of that, group select the bowl, and then we're gonna slide that into place. And then we're gonna do that one more time. And now we have a desk under the staircase. I am really loving how this wall is looking. For the kitchen, we're gonna be starting with some stone crates. So we're gonna go ahead and add a stone crate in the corner. I keep going back and forth if I want a window on this wall, so we're gonna leave this for now. However, I might end up changing my mind again. So we're gonna place 2 of those, and then we're gonna go ahead and place a spring fever trellis on top of that. And then we're gonna go ahead and place some industrial wall shelves in the center, and this is gonna act as our pantry. And then we're gonna be placing a bellflower pantry. However, don't be fooled by the name, because in this build, this is a fridge. Beside that, we're gonna place another stone crate, then add another stone crate, and then we're gonna add a few more just to close off this section. I'm thinking maybe 3. And there we have our kitchen. And because of how limited this space is, I think it's okay if this kitchen is just for aesthetic. So we're not gonna be adding a prep station, mixing station, all of that. We're gonna keep this kitchen for aesthetics only. As for this corner, we're gonna add a little bookshelf. So we're gonna start with a stone crate. We're gonna place it in the corner, place another one beside that, and then one more on the other side. And then we're gonna be placing 2 wood pillars on both sides. However, we need to be a little careful just because of this wood floor. So I'm gonna try to get it more so closer to this edge. Okay, that ended up working out. Now let's do it on the other side, and we'll have that extend like fully up, just to make it look a bit more realistic. And then for this corner bookshelf, we're gonna be placing 4 industrial wood shelves. I think that's looking amazing. And now that we're done with this section, I feel like we can finally move on to floors and walls. For floors, I kind of want to use the library parquet floor. For the wall up at the front, we're gonna be going with the Gibson flagstone wall, and we're actually gonna be putting it on this back wall right here as well. And for the side walls, we will use the flowering fields wallpaper. Now that we have every single room laid out, I kind of want to go through and add some minor details to every space before I stop filming and finish like cluttering up and decorating. So for the kitchen, I kind of wanted to add an island in the center. I don't think it necessarily needs it, but I think it would be nice to just have a little bit of extra space. So I'm gonna go ahead and place the Homestead floor cabinet, and then I'm gonna place another one behind that, and let me merge that into place. For seating in the kitchen, I'm gonna go ahead and use the Homestead cozy chair. This is actually one of my favorite chairs. I think it's so cute. Well, maybe just 2. We'll just do 2. Next to the pantry, I'm gonna add a stool, because I would personally need that if I was reaching for the top shelf. Next to the window, we're gonna be making a spice rack with the wood pavers, and we're gonna make it the same way that we made the staircase, but we're gonna place a wood paver, and then we're gonna add the dessert bowl, but we're gonna do 3 instead of the 1, just to make it look a little bit different, and it'll make our spice rack a bit more sturdy too. So we place the 3, and then I'm gonna go ahead and place a paver, but you're gonna want to center it with the middle dessert bowl, and then we're gonna repeat that again. And here is our spice rack. And on the spice rack, obviously we're gonna be placing some spices, but I also wanna place some cookbooks. Okay, I think that's a good start, and I'll come back to that a little bit later. But I'm wanting to place curtains on this bay window, and I found a tutorial on TikTok on how to do this. I'll have it linked down below. But basically, we're gonna place 4 pavers on top of each other, and then you place 4 chests on top of that, and then you're gonna move these onto the window and then place the curtains. There you go. And then now you can remove the chests and the pavers. Now we have curtains on this wall. Oh, that's so exciting. I love that. I think that looks amazing. I'm gonna move this door back into place. For seating, I'm gonna use the bellflower armchair. We don't have a ton of space for a full-on couch, so I think this is the next best thing. And then for a side chair, I'm gonna use another Homestead stool because I think these are perfect, but I'm loving how cozy this is feeling. Moving on to the bathroom. For a tub, we're gonna be using the Capital Chic one in the color Shore. I think it looks so good with this wallpaper. So we're gonna put it up against this wall. For a sink, we're gonna use the Bellflower sink and then place some Capital Chic mirrors on top of that. And then for a toilet, we're gonna place it on the opposite wall. For our desk area, I wanted to use a Capital Chic chair. For the bedroom, I'm thinking this wall could be where we have our wardrobe. And I kind of had an idea of having 2 wardrobes on the end with some dressers and having that all connected. We're gonna start with one on the side, And then I'm gonna place another one as far as I can over here. Oh, I can actually fit it pretty close to that wall. Okay, that's looking nice. And then I'm gonna be merging this, but because we're around so many items that can be selected, I'm gonna do the soup bowl trick, but outside of the home. It might be an extra step, but I just know I would be heartbroken if I accidentally moved anything. So let me move this into place. There you go. And then I think we need a mirror right there. So let me grab one, maybe the capital chic one. And here's our wardrobe area. I'm loving it. For the bed, I thought we could use the homestead one just to match the homestead dresser that we have going on. Actually, we can kind of place that a little bit center of this room. And then I'm going to place 2 stools on either side for nightstands. Ooh, I feel like we can actually place another mirror right here. Is that gonna be... Ooh, okay, let me go find a mirror. And then we can have a mirror right there. So I think this room is looking good. And I feel like this is a good place for me to stop recording, and I will be back once I'm done decorating. I'm so excited to share with you guys the final look. Here is the tiny house. So here is what it looks like from the first glance. Oh, the door's in the way. Here is the left wall. Here's the right wall coming from the front door. So going back to the front door, to our right, we have our kitchen. I added the Valley Sunrise cutlery with some books, some plants, of course. This is our pantry. Since we don't have a hallway section, I usually opt for that. But this is mostly storage, and you could also put food up here. I really love our spice rack. Oh my goodness, I just realized my focus bar is yelling at me. Sorry about that. But we have our spice rack right here, as well as our island. I added a rug at the entryway just because I thought it made it feel a bit more cozy and welcoming. Moving forward, we have our desk area, and for the most part, I kept it pretty simple. I also switched out the color of the capital chic chair because I just thought shore looked a little bit better in this space, but I wanted to keep the desk pretty simple, just then you have space to like draw, write, read. You can do everything at this desk. And then coming on over to our living room, of course we had to add some books on these bookshelves. We have a little tea set so you can sit, enjoy some tea, and read your favorite book. Then I added a few decorations on the bay window, and moving on from there, we have the bathroom. I absolutely love the cluttering in this room. I had to decorate with 2 of the ducks because they make me so happy. Overall, I think this space feels so relaxing. Moving up the stairs, we have some plants as well as a little bench made out of an industrial shelf with some books below. And all of this leads up to the bedroom and closet. I'm really happy with how this space turned out. I love this wardrobe combo with the mirrors in the center. I added some more storage behind the bed and some books, of course. And turning this way, we have a mirror with some more plants. Out of this entire build, the thing I am most proud of is the staircase. I love that there's 3 levels to it. Here's the first one, here's the second one, and the third. I think it looks pretty good without glitching. Obviously, there's some holes here or there where I'm not able to merge items, but for no glitching, I think this looks pretty good. And that is it for the build. And that is it for today's video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and a comment because it helps me grow the channel. Thank you again to Ana Luisa for my beautiful pieces of jewelry. As a reminder, use my link down below if you would like to check out Ana Luisa for yourself. And if you end up buying something, I would love to see what jewelry piece you chose. If you want to see more videos, I have some right here. Subscribe if you like, and I will be back again very soon with another video. Until I see you next, please make sure to stay safe, drink water, eat food, take care of yourself, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye, everybody.